Okay, I have a piece of 5/32 201 tool steel. I have some wood that I've cut out. I have the blank that I'm going to use, and it's dark. Tomorrow I'm going to make my first official BC knife. I'm not talking about the one I made from the hacksaw blade, but this is going to be a heat treatable, usable, functional. I hope, I'm hoping that this will all go well. But what better place to start than at the beginning? See you in the morning. Remember when I said I was going in, see you tomorrow? Well, I didn't go in. That was actually pretty easy. Let me see how close I am to the pattern after I cut this out. Well, it's not exact, but I like it. It's going to be a good, hefty knife. 5/32 thick. Hope I don't ruin it. Tomorrow, I'll clean this up, and then I'll bevel my edge, and I hope I can do it freehand because I have not made a knife grinding jig. And I do have the handles cut out. Okay, now I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, up until the next step, this has been fairly easy to do. I've got everything pretty much smoothed out and shaped. I've got a line scored there in the middle of the blade. Yeah, I know it's a double line, but I know which one is the right one. And I've got the grind basically where I want it, but I gotta tell you, I am so apprehensive about this next step, because this next step is the make you or break you step, and it's the hardest step for a new guy. I think it's even the hardest step for seasoned professional knife makers, and that is putting the grind on here. The first problem, I guess, the first struggle is maintaining the same angle all the way across here without burning the tip, and starting at the plunge line, or establishing a good plunge line and not coming any further back, and getting it the same way on both sides. And it takes lots and lots of practice. I don't have a jig. I thought I was gonna freehand this and just try to put the grind on freehand, but I don't think I am. I think I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna make a jig at 10 or 11 degrees. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Here's the problem. I ordered 2 pieces of steel. This is 7/32, which I don't see the need for 7/32 when it's only 1.25 inches wide, so I'm not going to do that again. If I went 1.5 inches wide or 1 5/8 inches wide, it would have justified this thick. Sorry, had a phone call. Anyway, enough about steel. Actually, the phone call was somebody I put a phone call into, a friend of mine who sells tools and And it turns out they can get tool steel as well. So I might be able to, and sanding belts. So I might be able to get my belts and tool steel through him a little bit cheaper. Plus he's a friend, so I may get the friend discount. I don't know. Even if I don't, it's got to be cheaper than shipping. So I may get a little relief on the cost of the steel and the belts. But back to this. Right now I'm going to get my holes drilled in my handles, and then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put a fresh belt on my grinder and get after it. And there's no way to see how good or bad you are at something until you put your hands on it and give it a try. Back to work. All right, I got holes drilled. I dry fitted it. The pins all fit nice. There's no putting it off anymore. This is the next step. Let's get her done. I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. I got to eliminate some of the variables, and one of the variables immediately, instantly, is my hands. My hands shake. So I can eliminate a lot of that shaking by making a jig that will have a tilt to it. And I'm going to achieve that tilt by welding a nut. I'm going to drill a hole and then weld a nut over that hole. Use a bolt to determine the tilt I want, and then another nut to lock that tilt in. And then I will clamp this blade to this, and then put it up against the thing. And then, I mean, this is not my idea. This is a variation of all the ideas on the internet. I've looked at a bunch of these jigs, and this is the simplest and quickest to make, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drill a hole right here and then get my welder out, weld the nut on, and we should be grinding here in about 20 minutes. Okay, here's the jig. When I set the angle, I'm going to run this lock nut down and tighten it up against this so the angle won't move. I have one little bolt 1/4 inch through one of the holes I drilled here just to help me. And here's how this is going to adjust. Here, let's look at it this way. I got my vice grips holding it up tight so it won't move. I got that line. I don't know what it's called. I know this line is the plunge line, but this has a name too. And I've got that parallel with the bottom of this. So, alrighty. I can't avoid it any longer. I'm fixing to go in the shop and start grinding. Alright, it's really hard to tell if I should continue, ow, still hot, or I think I'm going to err on the side of caution and go ahead and turn it over now. And I got to do a little more studying. I don't know whether I heat treat this roughed in, or whether I got 60 grit on there now. I'm not sure if I go up to the next grit and clean these lines up a little bit, But I don't want to take any more off of this side, because I got to come in the same amount on the other side. I got to turn this around and do the same thing on the other side. And I got to leave about 20% of the edge not shaped, or else the edge may warp during heat treating, from what I understand. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to get it to the same degree as I got this side, and then I'm going to step up to a 120 belt and clean this up, make it a little easier to work with. But you know what? I think I'm going to watch a couple of videos. And you know, let me take this opportunity. I doubt any of you professional knife makers are going to watch my videos, but the fact that you've been willing to put your work and show people how to do things online on YouTube, it has helped, I'm sure, a lot of other people just like me get started without making costly mistakes by buying the wrong equipment or the wrong steel. Or Ekim Knives is one guy, E-K-I-M Knives. He's got great tutorials on his channel. Anyway, let me get this turned over and get the other side caught up to this side, and then I'm going to watch some videos and see if I can see just what grade of belt, what grade of grit I go to on this before I heat treat it. Okay, I don't know if this is the way other people do it, but what I did was I got a real nice grind here. I'm really happy with this grind, the way it came out. What I did was put some finer, much finer grit sandpaper on the belt, and I tried cleaning up this top area, which you know, what I did was end up messing it up. Here's, let me see, you can see if the light's just right here. Right here. I started like back here and was trying to go down this way with the fine because I wanted this area to be somewhat shiny and this area to be matte, or I guess satin. And yeah, I kind of messed up, but I'm not going to do any more to it. Let me undo this a little bit. Show you the other side. I ended up messing up this line here, making it wavy. Trying to do too much, I guess. Small steps. So I'm going to heat treat this and go from there. I'll have this heat treated and probably cleaned up, and maybe the handle's glued on today, and tomorrow I'll shape the handle and maybe get started making a sheath for it. Alright, there's my dual burner forge. That's the new torch. I went into Home Depot and got aggravated over. I'm going to heat this rod up, and then I'm going to put it in that oil to heat that oil up. And then I'm going to put the knife in there. I'll show you what I got when I'm taking this knife out and dunking it in the oil. I was going to show you, but that's just too much to do with the one hand on this. And but it worked, and I got it red hot and non-magnetic in no time at all. So now I have to anneal this, and this is going to really, my wife's not going to want me to do this inside, and I don't have a little electric oven I could do out here, so I'm going to do it anyway. Probably take a couple hours. It might be late tonight before I get the handles on it, the grips on it, but tomorrow I should be sanding this. All right. Thanks for your help, Breezy. We're done. Alright, I have just annealed it. I've left it in the oven at 400 for 1 hour, and I'm just going to let it cool down naturally. I've shut it off, let it cool down naturally, and probably a half hour I'll come back and we will go out there and clean it up and maybe get the handles on before the day's out. Alright, I have brought it down to 400 grit. And there's my mistake. You have to be so very careful when you touch this up against the belt grinder. You got to be absolutely certain that you're square with the blade. And that's too deep to grind out. I mean, I can barely feel it, to tell you the truth, but anyway, I'm going to leave it in. It's an optical flaw, not a mechanical flaw. Now, I don't have any acetone, but I have some 91% alcohol. I'm going to clean this up real good and glue my handles on. And tomorrow I'll start shaping it. See you in the morning. Oh yeah, thanks to the several people that suggested I put something fat on that little tiny thing, make it easier for me to hold on to, and that's just what I did. Good idea. Thank you very much. Now, I'll be able to hold on to it a little tighter and turn it. Yeah, good idea. All right, let me get this cleaned up, get the handles on it. All right, it's the next morning, and this is what we got. It's dry enough. I'm pretty sure it's dry. Yeah, it's hard enough to sand on. Let me make sure my gaps are, or there are no gaps. Okay, I'm going to cut these off even with the handle and go to sanding. Well, I cut the pins off, and I got some glue had oozed out up here and up here, so I took a razor blade and cleaned it up really good. And I got to noticing that this epoxy is still not hard as a rock. I can get my fingernail to dig into it. And if I try to sand this, it's just going to gum that sanding belt right up. So I'm going to let this set another full 24 hours. I'm going to bring it in the house, though, because it's still cool and damp out here. And we're supposed to have days and days and days of rain. So I'm going to bring it in the house, and maybe it'll solidify completely in the house. So I'll give it another 24 hours. In the meantime, I'm going to cut another knife out. But I'll tell you, I'm not going to turn the PC Truck channel into the knife making channel. I'm going to finish this up and show you that. I'll make a sheath for it and show you that. And after that, I'm probably not going to be putting any more knives on my channel. I don't want to turn my channel into the knife making channel. There's a million of them out there, and you know, this is something I'm going to do all the time now. So, and I'm not going to sell these on my channel either, although this is going to be for sale. I don't know how much. I'm going to make a sheath for it, and it is going to be for sale. I haven't put a price on it yet, but we'll see what it looks like when I get it all made. Maybe I shouldn't even tell you this now. I should wait till the end of the video. But anyway, I'm going to finish this knife, and that'll be the end of my knife making that I'll put on my channel. On this channel. I have another channel called the DIY How-To Guy. Speak, Brad, speak. English. The DIY How-To Guy. And to get to that channel, you go to my home page, my home channel, and there'll be a link at the top part of my, I guess it would be called the header, the little picture at the top. There's a link to my other channel. I will sell these on that channel. And I just don't want to, well, I don't know. I have a lot of subscribers that have no interest in knives. I noticed that when I do the knife making videos that I don't really get a lot of views. So I don't want to pollute my main channel with stuff that really is of interest to a narrow amount of people. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Be right back. Yeah, sawdust. Haven't even done anything yet. I'm already sneezing. Anyway, the DIY how-to guide. To get there, you go to my home channel and click on the link that'll take you there. I've never really done anything with it, but if I have knives for sale, that's where I'll put them up. And this will be the last knife that I show you me building. I've mainly showed this just to show you my learning process and where I am. And I mean, I'm not saying I'll never put another knife on, but I'm not going to bore you with every single knife I make. Maybe someday if I make something super spectacular that I'm really proud of, I'll show you on this channel. But otherwise, knife videos, knife making videos will go on the DIY how-to guy channel. And if I can, I may change that channel to BC Knives. I hate to give up the DIY how-to guy name because it's a pretty cool name, but I've had it for a couple of years now and I've never really done anything with it, so I just might change it to the BC Knives channel if that name is available. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put this in the house and I'll see you tomorrow. This, I'm just gonna make me probably 2 of these. Yep, I can get 2 out of it. And I won't show you this. This is just something I'm gonna be doing from now on out here, among other things. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Time for some coffee. It still ain't even light yet. What do you think, Shop Dog? You proud of it? I am. I am very proud of that. I still got a little burn mark to rub out right there. But I'm down to fine sandpaper right now. There's my faux pas. That's fancy for a mistake. I mean, you can't feel it with your finger. So it's basically it's an optical flaw that I created by when I went in. Actually, it was this way. When I went into the sander, I didn't go in flat. I hit it on one edge of the sander too hard before I started my grind that away. But man, I'll tell you, I've learned so much just in 2 blades. I'm really, really happy with the way this has come out. And I haven't put anything on the handle yet. This is just a dry wood. I'm going to put True Oil, and I'm fixing to go do that now. I'm probably going to put 3 or 4 coats of True Oil on it, because True Oil holds up to everything, solvents, everything. And then I'm going to put all my effort into making a super kick-ass sheath for this, and then I'm going to offer it for sale. I'm not sure how much. I know what I'd like to get for it, but what I'd like to get for it and what I'd be willing to take for it are 2 different things. So let's see. I'll show you this when I get a coat of True Oil on it, and then I'll put the video up because I know it's already really, really long. And I promise when I get through this, I'm not going to be doing a knife video, but every once in a while, if I do something I'm really, really proud of. So let me get a coat of True Oil on this, and I'll give you a final shot of 1 coat, which I'm probably going to put 3 or 4. And then I'm going to make a sheath, and I'll probably do that tomorrow. Let's see, yeah, probably going to do that tomorrow. Okay, let's get a coat of True Oil on it, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, there's 1 coat of True Oil. I'm going to let this dry 24 hours, buff it out with some fine steel wool, put probably 2 or 3 more coats on it, and you got to let it dry 24 hours in between each coat is what it said, and that's probably the truth here, because it's very, very humid here. So, alright, I still have to put an edge on it. I'm going to put an edge on it right there with my Lansky Super Duper sharpening system, which is right there. Alright, I still got 3 or 4 more days of stuff to do. I got to make a sheath, and I'm probably... Anyway, I've already made this video too long. A few more coats of this True Oil on here, and in the meantime, I'm going to make a sheath for it. So that's the video. I'm putting this up now. I still have to put an edge and make a sheath and put 3 or 4 more coats, but I've taken up enough of your day. Thanks for watching, y'all.